Are you a man or a woman that has been put in the role or volunteered for the role as caregiver and feel like you have to be Superwoman or Superman? And after a period of time, you realize that you're not Superwoman or Superman, and you're starting to get frustrated and stressed right out. And sometimes you just don't understand why. Why do I feel this way? I'm trying to do something caring, but yet I'm starting to get really just so stressed from the whole ordeal. So is that you? Maybe you know someone that's going through that right now. Well, I invite you to hang out with me on the Hangout with Penny show for the next 30, 40 minutes, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to share my experience with that, and I have two experts with me that know so well. One's written a book on it, and one has a program on how to find out what is best for you when you've been put in a role of caregiving. So anyway, welcome everybody. This is episode 59. So thank you for all this, keeping me on the air for all these episodes. So episode 59 of the Hangout with Penny show. I am a weekly show, Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And weekly habit. Weekly habit. So many people are just making me a habit and commenting and sending me emails and private messages about the value they're receiving. And my purpose of doing the Hangout with Penny show was I just wanted to share with you really special people that we all have a common goal, and that is when we learn something, we want to share it so we can inspire you, so we can uplift you and empower you to start living your best life. And so thank you for giving me this opportunity to be able to do that. So yay! So one of the other things that I really love to do is share with you the wine of the week. And because I have three beautiful women with me on the, or two, I make the third one, women with me on the panel today, I thought we're going to strut our stuff tonight. Oh, can you see that? Oh, here we go. You can't really see it. Anyway, it's Strut Wine. It's from the Niagara region. You all know that I manifested free wine in my life. Maybe you don't. Maybe this is your first time watching the Hangout with Penny show. Well, if you go back and watch, make a marathon of it and watch the prior 58 episodes, and you'll see how much wine that I have on my phone. But I manifested it from day one. I said I was going to manifest free wine for my show, and I did. So cheers. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Raise the glass.
Oh, and we sip.
Of course we do.
We definitely
cheers. So, cheers.
Cheers.
So before we go on with the show, I am going to just remind you that I do have a G+ community. It's Penny Peddie's Law of Attraction Center. So we're not hanging out here, we're hanging out there. And in the center I have different areas you can go to. I have 7 tips to abundance. I have lots of things in my library. That's where I promote my online trainings that I do, and my masterminds. And so you can find that all in there. So come on over, introduce yourself, come and meet me. I'd love to see you there. And Tanna Marshall, you're going to meet her in just a moment. We also have Enlightened Caregivers Community Support Group. And that is for anybody right now that is a caregiver, whether it's for a spouse or a parent or a child or a neighbor. Maybe that's what you do for a living. But caregivers need to take care of themselves and they need support. And that's why we have this community. So we can do that, and we can come together and help each other. So we have that. One more thing. Thank you, my YouTube subscribers. Thank you so much for supporting me and commenting. I love it. And for all your comments. So we are going to read a couple from last week. And I also have a comment out here from Troy Davidson. He commented earlier, and then he just said, I was just being silly when I said that I'm not a caregiver role, but I listen. I'm going to listen because your show provides good advice. So thank you, Troy Davidson. I appreciate that. Linda Gannon, she is unable to watch, but she's going to watch the recording. So that's the beauty of having these shows. They're recorded right away and sent over to YouTube, and you can watch it at your own convenience. Romy Carlin's in the house.
I just say hi to Linda.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. So I'm going to read the comments, and then we will get on with the show. A to Z point. So Linda, she says, thanks for sharing Jamie's vibrant, warm energy. He's so right about working on yourself to clear what needs to be released, to make room to express all that you truly are. Never settle for less than fabulous. I love that. Thanks, Linda. So that was referring to episode 58, how to use law of attraction to heal. And I know all three of us today on this panel have done that, used the law of attraction to help us heal in some form. So, and Monique Jackson, she says, OMG, what a fabulous show. There were so many great tips and ideas. They would take up the whole page. I absolutely love Jamie. My intention has always been to make more time to check out his show, and you can bet money that it's going to happen now. He's gorgeous inside and out. That was amazing. Thanks, guys. We're talking about Jamie Smith. Oh, gee, he is a great guy. I met him when I went to Vancouver, and we just became friends, and yeah, so it's great. So now I'm going to read one more comment, and then we're going to lead into introducing my friend Tanna Marshall, and then we're going to come in, now we'll get to Dana in just a few minutes. So, Tanna, I'm going to read your comment from last week, and it says, I love this show. Jamie Smith, you are so inspiring and hilarious. Your Yolanda impression was, wasn't he? He was spot on. Love the zero tension for allowing. That makes me relax and release that control freak, gotta make it happen energy. And I'm so there for you. Self-care program to help me take a moment for myself. Oh, Tanna. So we are here today talking about self-care and the importance of taking care of ourselves and being able to know when things aren't going quite right, how to shift it, and to know that it's okay to accept help, to accept taking time to ourselves. So Tanna, come on out, introduce yourself. People will recognize you right away. Show your book.
Wow.
And talk a little bit about that, please.
Okay, hi, I'm Tanna Marshall from Encino, California. I'm a holistic consultant and a law of attraction life coach, and I've written several books, and the most recent one is The Enlightened Caregiver. It's based on my experience taking care of my mom. I've been her full-time caregiver for, can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Shine, shine, shine. Okay.
There you go.
Now I know why you hold everything sideways, Penny. I've been my mom's full-time caregiver for about 5 years. I've been living with her for 12 since my dad died. He asked me to move in with her and help take care of her when he was dying in 2003. And it's been a gradual evolvement to where we are now. And I'm so glad that you're doing this show because I think more and more people are in the role of caregiver in different ways. You know, Dana, you've got your husband, I've got my mom, other people, like my neighbor helps. So sometimes you're helping a neighbor. And it can go through phases. And I know, as I said in my comment about last week's show, I am a control freak. I have 4 pages of instructions for anybody that takes over for my mom, even if I'm gone for just an hour. So, here are the instructions. But I have had to ask for help. I mean, I'm very big on self-help. It's what I teach other people in my coaching, but it's been a little bit hard to maintain it for myself, and I've had to evolve my self-care routine as my routine caring for my mom has evolved and changed over the years. And as you both know, and people who've seen me on my Feel Good Friday videos know, definitely, and if you see behind me, I'm a huge Disneyland freak. And part of my self-care routine is I go to Disneyland about once a month. And some people are like, what? I don't get it. And I'm like, great, you don't need to be there, then the lines will be shorter. So, fewer people. If anyone's like, I don't like Disneyland, I'm like, good, stay home. But I love it. It inspires me. It puts me in another world. It helps me relax. It helps me disconnect from this and just be all about myself. But I've learned over the years to ask for help. And I had a really pretty amazing, I don't know if it was an aha moment, but a couple of years ago, I had some help that wasn't really working out around the same time my mom needed more care. So I had to call on my family a little bit more. I have a friend who's a caregiver, so I got her involved with my mom's care. But my older niece, I remember her telling me after I said, well, can you start doing this for Grandma every week? she said, well, I'm glad you asked, because if you don't ask, because all I have is I have my brother, his wife, and my 2 nieces who are grown, and our neighbor, and my friend Ann, who helps out sometimes. And my husband is there if I need him, but he's not a caregiver. But my niece said, if you don't let us know that you need help, we think you're fine.
Yep.
We think you're doing great.
Yep.
And I thought, I never thought of that, because I'm the type of person, and I think most caregivers are. The two of you need to tell me if you're like this. I think most caregivers are the kind of person who is always trying to take care of other people, always trying to make their lives easier, always trying to go above and beyond and be thoughtful. And this is why I was a great executive assistant and office manager, in my job for 23 years, because that's what I did all day, every day. And so I always try to do that with my mom. And so I'm thinking people are going to look at me and go, oh, well, she's doing this 24/7. We should help her out, or we should offer to help. But it doesn't occur to people because everybody's focused on their own lives. And I can't look at them and say, oh, they're so selfish, because a basic Abraham principle that Abraham Hicks talks about is you're supposed to be selfish. We all have to be selfish. Everybody's here to live their lives. You can't need someone else to act a certain way in order for you to feel good. So as caregivers, we have to find ways to feel good and ask for the help that we need. So I started getting more help about, it was like 3, 4, oh God, it might even be more. Anyway, a few years ago, and just this past week, I actually hired a caregiver service. And I had been putting that off for a really long time. And I had this mix of relief and joy and not as much anxiety as I thought I was going to have as at letting go of this, because my neighbor who helps all the time, he had surgery last week, and so he's always available to me. He works from home and he's right there, but he was recovering from surgery, and he obviously couldn't help me. And my nieces, they're living their own lives. They're not always as available to me as they want to be, and I can't expect that from everybody. So it's nice to have a resource that is there whenever I need them. And so that was a huge leap for me, and that's something that I've had to start doing to take better care of myself. So that's kind of where I am in my caregiving journey right now.
I love that, because it goes back to what I titled, I'm Not a Superwoman. But you know what? When we fit into the role, when you said when you're in your corporate world and when I was in one, we tried to do everything and we tried to do it. So it's like we do try and play the part as Superwoman. And then we don't understand why people aren't saying, oh, can I help you with that?
Because they just expect you to do it. You're like, oh, you can handle it.
Yeah.
But you know what? It comes to a point in time, it's like, wait a minute, I am not Superwoman. I really do need help. I really do need help. I just want to go to the community here, and we got Cindy Pohl. She says, watching live from Auckland, New Zealand. It's Saturday, November 21st at 2 p.m., so it's probably 2:15 now. Hi, Cindy. She says, hi, Tana and Dana. Looking forward to the show. Used to care for my family member after a stroke. I look forward to gaining some nuggets today. Thank you, Cindy.
Wow. Hi, Cindy.
Yes. Oops. Guess what? I have to read everything using my natural eyesight now. So I just want to read what the definition of a caregiver is. I just printed some information out today that I thought was pretty pertinent to tonight's, I was going to say class, show. Anyway, so it's like, a caregiver is anyone who provides care for any person in need, such as a child, an aging parent, a husband, a wife, a relative, friend, or neighbor. A caregiver also may be a paid professional who provides care in the home or at a place that is not the person's home. People who are not paid to give care are called informal caregivers to family. Okay, and just says how that came apart. So a caregiver. So many of us are caregivers. We don't even realize that we're caregivers. And so much stress can build up. And so I'm going to bring Dana out in just a moment, but before I do that, I'm going to just share a little bit about my experience as caregiving. So a year and a half ago, a little longer now, almost 2 years, it will be in December, I made a decision. So I made a conscious choice to move home, leave my home of almost 30 years, leave the home that I lived in for almost 30 years, left most of I left pretty much all my furnishings, I left everything, mostly, and I moved down here. So I had to start meeting all new friends, or trying to reacquaint myself with friends that I knew 30 years ago. At the same time, I was taking care of my mom, who had developed dementia. And my mom and I, our relationship over the years was, my mom is a very strong, independent woman, and she taught me to be a strong, independent woman. However, if my ideas didn't coincide with what she thought, then we would conflict all the time. Yeah. So we would always have the headbutting thing. And so now her dementia had really escalated, and there was many times where her demeanor wasn't hers, and she would be nasty and almost violent, and it was so hard to handle. And I tell you, I was getting resentful. I was getting resentful that I had given up the life as I knew it to come down and care for someone who, mind you, it wasn't intentional for her, but for me, I was so hurt by what I was going, and I didn't feel like I had the support from most family, and it was hard. And it's like, then I started feeling guilty. It's like, I'm supposed to be doing this from love. I'm supposed to be doing this because it's part of my job. I'm the daughter. I'm supposed to be doing this. And I couldn't understand why I was getting so stressed. My hair was falling out. I gained weight. Like so many things. But after, I'm going to read you some of the stress-related, what we can get from caregiving, but Dana's going to come and give us a really important, because I had an aha moment, Dana, when I read one of your emails about you're going to share what you were going through with your husband a little bit, and I read something, I'm like, it was such a relief to know, it's like, okay, not everybody is really cut out to do this. And if I could have done it over, I would have done it way different. I would have got help right off. I wasn't Superwoman, but I tried to be.
Yeah.
So Dana, please come out and share your experience with your husband and what led you to help me with that aha moment.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Penny. I'm delighted to be on the show and really excited about this topic, and also with Tana, because I think, just looking at the three of us, and I know a lot of other women are the same, we've always been strong in our lives. I don't really like the word control freak. I always say that I'm a leader. And this is how things have to be done. But why I so wanted to be on this show and share something today is because actually several years ago my mother did have a stroke. So I went through her in the hospital, in the home, and then to the hospice and all of that. And it really, that whole process, I mean, I was there because I wanted to be there, but it literally sucked the life out of me. Like those things you're going to talk about, Penny, about, we were talking about this earlier, comfort food that we have, and we put weight on, and we're not really taking the best care of ourselves. But I'm excited to tell you that there is a real reason for this. And Tana, I loved what you said, because another program that I didn't create it, but I teach it, I mentor women through it, is called Discover Your Sacred Gifts. And earlier this year, I haven't shared this with a lot of people, but I will share it here because I believe in the show that Penny's doing, and it's helpful. But my husband was diagnosed with cancer. Big shock to both of us, because he was never sick, and we eat well, we exercise. It was just like a bomb exploded in our life. And he went through the chemo, and I was a strong one, and he was strong too. And then he had surgery a few months ago. The surgery went fine. He's cancer-free, according to the doctor, but there were complications with the surgery. So he got an abscess and consequently was in the hospital for a very, very long time. Being a law of attraction trainer and student as well, I knew that I just wanted to focus on the positive. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't ask for help. Right? Law of attraction, we don't want to talk about it. Like I say, I mean, I'm really just saying this out loud, I think, for the first time on publicly, with my husband's permission. But what I want to share the most is, Tana, you said it perfectly. With the Discover Your Sacred Gifts program, there are 24 sacred gifts out there, and we all have 3 to 5. The sacred gifts for a caregiver are not the gifts that I have, and they may not be the gifts that you have. So a caregiver's sacred gifts, Tana, you said it when you were in the corporate world. Number 1, gift of assistance. Number 2, sacred gift of service. Number 3, sacred gift of compassion. So and compassion, some people get confused with that. I'm a compassionate person. People are compassionate, but to be truly have the sacred gift of compassion, a sacred gift means that it benefits someone else and you're very joyful doing it. I don't like soup kitchens. I don't like, I'll always give homeless people food. I won't give them money, but so I have compassion, but I am not. I don't have the sacred gift like a Mother Teresa, like a Bill Gates, like an Angelina Jolie. They have the sacred gift of compassion. So you don't have to beat yourself up about it. You just don't have the gift. But you have a lot of those caregiving gifts, Tana, and I think that's why you've been able to sustain that for so long. But listening to my friends Penny and Tanna, we also all have the gift of teaching. So I'm going to tell you a little story about chakras. And so what was happening with my husband, we've talked about how frustrating it is for both of us, and we just take one day at a time now, and he's really turned a corner. We're so happy, but again, I didn't ask for help, and I would be sitting there thinking, well, why aren't my friends, why isn't this one friend contacting more? So I just sat and just asked for some guidance, support to say what I need to say to her. And all of a sudden, I had an aha moment. I thought, you know what? I'm accountable for that. I haven't asked her for help. So she said, because she knows I'm a law of attraction practitioner, she said, I know you don't like to talk about the negative. So,
It's so true.
There was, kind of, okay, well, that's kind of backfiring. And then once I said to her, I would like some support, we got together, she's contacting me, she sends texts and stuff like that, so it's all good. So, what I'm saying here with the sacred gifts is you may not have those sacred gifts, so don't beat yourself up. However, for me and for Tana and Penny, we love the person that we are providing the care to, like with my mother or my husband. I'm not doing that out of guilt. Do I get frustrated sometimes? Absolutely. Do we go like that sometimes? Yep. And I know this is what I do. I know better. I just get my reset vibe, and I have to ask myself, okay, what do you want? You know what? Yep. Sometimes it's a timeout. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go get in my car. I'm going to go down the beach. I got a favorite spot. I live in Vancouver, beautiful beaches. The bench is always empty. The tree is there. The ocean is there. I'm just there. I don't know what's going on around me. I don't even see the other people. So if you don't have those sacred gifts, it's okay to know that, to not beat yourself up about it. But here's my little chakra story. So I'm major. I love chakras. I do not have the sacred gift of healing, though. I have another sacred gift of knowledge, which I suspect Penny and Tanna have as well. So I like to read things, and I've got books everywhere, as you do as well. And I like to pass on what I'm reading. So, I do a chakra tape maybe once a week just to balance my chakras. So I said to my husband, who is, he's pretty smart, modern man. I'll call him a Renaissance man. He'd probably like that. But he's not. If it gets too woo-woo, he's gone. But he's okay with my Buddha. He's okay with some of the things that I talk about. He's good with the law of attraction as long as it's working for him. Right? Because when it's not, he doesn't own it. Like it's, we don't have to go there. But I said to him, Terry, would you like me to just talk to you about your chakras? The energy centers, and because the best way to teach someone is to model it yourself, right? So I've got a really good tape on it, and he goes, well, yeah, what are they? So because one of my sacred gifts is teaching, I was like excited.
Mm.
Like, okay, you know, talk about raising the energy. Okay, well, let's sit down. And, you know, I'm going to, okay, here's the crown chakra. And I went through it all. And he even listened to a tape that I have on chakras. And for me, being able to use that sacred gift of teaching as well as knowledge, I felt alive again. Sometimes when I'm caregiving and when you're not using a sacred gift, you feel that life is being sucked out of you.
Right out of you.
And sometimes with my mom, like honestly, seriously, I would come home from visiting her, and I'm sad to say it wouldn't just be one of these, but until I got to deal with it, right? And then it's like, okay, what do I want here? And, you know, eating a bit more healthily, you know, all those things. But, you know, you go to comfort food, but, you know.
I just have to add with the wine thing. Yeah. I'm so, you know, we do have divines looking out for us, because I manifested the free wine after my mom was put into the home and was taken care of. If I had manifested the free wine beforehand, I would have been drinking a whole lot more. I know it.
Yeah.
But I had to pay for it, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, not so much. Yeah.
So tell us some more, Tanna.
Well, I think that was my aha moment, and why I wanted to be on this show, because, as I said, Terry was okay with me talking about this. I would always respect him not wanting me to say anything. But that's another thing, too, is that you can't get help unless you let people know what's going on. Now, you don't have to disclose everything, right? Sometimes it could just be, like I have some, you know, women business friends that, you know, they'll just sense maybe from a Facebook post in my newsletter that something's going on with me, even though I haven't said it, right? There's, you know, it could be whatever the title is, but they'll say, hey, let's get together, you know, and I don't have to talk about anything, or I can. But I guarantee you, it's just like today when I was at a networking event with my women business friends. One of the women was talking about a product, and she showed me the side of her neck. And she said, oh, I've used this product on my neck from the radiation and the cancer.
Wow.
And I just thought, wow, you know, so many people, I mean, I didn't go into it with her. I just didn't, but I just had so much more empathy for what people are going through that you don't really know about, right? Like, she's fine and everything well, but I don't know if she had throat cancer or what. Another woman in that same group was just chatting away about something. Oh, yeah, she started this new store. And she said, oh, yeah, she said that was after the brain tumor.
Oh, wow.
I just looked at her and I said, whoa, stop right there. Because she is a chatty person and would talk. And so she said, oh, yeah, you know, I had brain tumor and, you know, went through it. And, you know, that was last year. And, you know, and I just thought, wow. But, you know, everybody's going to handle whatever they're going through differently, right? So
that's right.
And I think yours might be an exception in the terms, the length of time rather, like the 12 years with your dad asking you to help, and then, you know, you've made some, but you definitely have caregiving sacred gifts. No question.
Thank you. I don't know if I should thank you or maybe. No, I get it. And you know what's as you're talking about that, I'm thinking, and the difference is I don't get a paycheck or medical insurance or performance review every 6 months for promotion and a raise, you know. So, but I like having those gifts because I'm still friends with my old bosses, you know, one of my main bosses, he's still a great friend of mine. So
that's because you have really, that sacred gift, though. And the sacred gift of service or assistance, rather, is where you're in the background and you are doing everything to promote that other person, but they can't function without you.
Yeah.
So usually there's visionaries, like if you take someone like Obama or, you know, any leader in the world, they're not the ones that do the work. Like the visionaries are up here with the vision.
Yes.
They're terrible at the follow through, right? So that's what's so beautiful about the sacred gifts, is that everybody's got different ones, and that's the beauty of it. We don't have to have them all. It's like what Penny's saying about being Superwoman. You know, we all have some Superwoman gifts, But we don't have to be all things to all people, especially during a caregiving time. You know, but I know, you know, sometimes in the beginning you get a lot of resentment, right? Like what you were saying, Penny, like, okay, well, do you not know what I sacrificed? And sometimes, again, I have to go back to this one. You know, it's like, whoa, I got to take myself out on the porch or something because, whoa, you know, no one's appreciating anything I'm doing here, and do you know how much I sacrificed? And, you know, do you know what I'm doing? You know, like, just like, okay, Dana.
But you know what? I'm just going to read some of the stress symptoms of caregiving, and that is typical, right? That is so typical. So caregiving stress can take on many forms. For instance, you may become frustrated and angry one minute and then feeling totally helpless the next. You may make mistakes when giving medicines. Or you may turn to unhealthy behaviors like smoking, drinking, right? I didn't do either one of those, but you know what? There's cheers, Tana. There we go. I was making errors in judgment while driving.
Ooh. Yes. Because we're not all there, Penny. We're just not all there, right?
Oh my gosh, and actually the one day I come home and that's when I stopped my Hangouts for, I think it was about a month, because it's like I gotta like stop something right now and regroup my brain. And so anyway, so other signs are feeling overwhelmed, right? We've all felt that. Feeling alone, isolated, or deserted by others. There we go, right? Sleeping too much or too little. Gaining or losing weight. Mine was the gaining part.
Yeah, so was mine.
Feeling tired most of the time, right? So we're starting to just get drained.
Tired in a different way, Penny, right? Like not the normal tired of, oh, you've done a great job and now you're going to go have a sleep. It's the tired of just sucking, the energy's just like, whoa, heavy and just like dragging your feet, right?
Yes, we begin to lose interest in activities we like. We become irritated very easily and angry, feeling worried or sad, and then having headaches or body aches, so or other symptoms like there's other symptoms. My adrenals were totally drained. My adrenal glands, they just was totally drained, and so I thought because of what we do, because of what we know, I thought that I was doing better at taking care of myself, but because Dana, I really believe this now. Because my sacred gift is not a caregiver, I really was doing the best I could.
Yes.
It's just that I just didn't understand why I felt the way I did in my role as caregiver. And I should have clued in, because I would always praise nurses and babysitters, because I'd be like, I can't do that. I can never do that, right?
And that's so actually the definition of a sacred gift, right? When we're looking at someone and go, wow, how do you do that, right? And someone goes, oh, it's nothing. Well, it's not nothing. It's a sacred gift. That's why you're doing it so well, right? But interesting you say that, Penny, because Terry having been in the hospital so much, we saw a new nurse every day. And actually the creator of the Sacred Gifts program, Monique McDonald, she was a nurse for 30 years. She said she was a good nurse, but she didn't have the sacred gifts for nursing.
Wow.
She had the sacred gift of teaching. And so when she was if she was in ICU or something, she said she just like flatlined herself. But when she could teach people or teach someone how to do up a bandage or teach the other nurses, that was her sacred gift, because she quit nursing because she was in the elevator one day after a 12-hour shift, just started crying. Said, this just cannot be it. But the point was, that's what led her to create that program. And a lot of those nurses, very good technically, but no compassion. And sometimes they seem mean. You know, that's not what you want, but, you know, yeah, you just got to do a little law of attraction there to be grateful, express your gratitude for them, and then you get a good nurse the next day, right?
Oh, yeah, it's true. Well, I'm mindful of time, so I'm going to come back for both your ladies' final words, but I'm just going to remind everybody, this is the Hangout with Penny show, episode 58. Next week, episode 59, it's going to be healthy for the holidays, so I have a nutritionist and another health and wellness coach that I did my training with, Kathleen Caldwell, and she's going to give us tips and some really good techniques and things we can do to maintain healthy and through the holidays. So I think that's very important because we can overindulge, but she's going to give us ways that we can cope and deal with that. So
especially when you're caregiving, Penny, over the holidays.
Yeah. Lock the liquor cabinet.
And the abundance of food, right? Like
yeah.
You don't even have to cook it. It's like just everywhere, and oh well, why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to share. It's not one of my proudest things I'm going to share, but I got to a point where I would eat something and I just never felt full. I was just trying to right? And I just kept, I would just keep eating and I would never feel satiated, but it wasn't about the food.
No, it's
I was trying to feel something.
It's the emotions. You were trying to find a happy place and it wasn't happening.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So, we all deal with things. So anyway, I would like to come back with Tana, and could you give us your final words and any tips that you'd like our viewers to go away with today?
Well, I have to say, first of all, thank you, Penny, for having me on the show. Again, I think this is such a great topic. Hopefully we're helping people. Dana, thank you for sharing the sacred gifts. That's so interesting and so fascinating and a little bit depressing to me. I'm going to figure this out for my career later, but no, I love that. But one thing I want to kind of emphasize with people who are in this role, as we talked about, you've got to ask for the help. Even though I've started asking for the help and I've gotten very open with my brother, my brother and I are really, really close, on the same page with everything. He is the best. I mean, we've always been close, but we're really close now. And he tries to be there for me as much as he can. And I'm very open with him, and I will tell him, okay, I'm getting frustrated and resentful. And he listens to me, and I feel better. Yes. But sometimes the next day I will still feel like, well, you're still up living your own life, and I'm still here stuck in this. So you just have to keep doing it. You have to keep voicing how you're feeling. You have to keep asking for help. You have to make sure that you're going to the best sources for that help, because some people are just going to be like, I'm out, you know, or they don't want to. They don't have those sacred gifts. They're not interested in helping. So it might be continuing to search family, friends, neighbors, or hiring somebody who will really be there for you, because you can get support and not feel supported. You want to feel supported, whether you're venting your frustrations and sharing how you feel, or whether you're actually getting physical help. So I think those two are really important to continue doing. Just, you have to continually ask for help and get support. It's kind of never ending.
Thank you. Yeah. And before we come to Dana, I just want to say to everybody watching, if you think you can host a show and have two beautiful women on with the names of Tana and Dana and get their names right throughout the whole thing, you got to say I'm doing pretty good.
You're great.
So Dana, come out and talk a little bit about your final words, and please share a little bit more about the sacred gifts and how people can learn more about that.
One thing I should do, which I haven't done as much as I like, but I should give a shout out to my sister, Lori. She's been there every day with me, texts or let's get together or whatever, and she also has the gift of service and assistance. And she also has the gift of hospitality, so she's fine with doing meals and things. Like, she'll always ask me that. So call on those people that have the sacred gifts, right? Like, you'll notice it in people. Look at what they do well. And that's, like you said, you always want to get the right kind of support. But, yeah, if you're curious about your sacred gifts, I do programs throughout the year, but a 4-week program, you actually do most of the work because it's an online program. But I've always felt that when I learned what my sacred gifts were, I actually had a whole lot more reverence for them, just as much as I go, Yahoo, I don't have those gifts. Right? I don't have the gift of hospitality. My sister does. Hey, you do Christmas. You
I
do
think I do
Thanksgiving.
that. I think I have that.
Right? But I'll set the like I have the gift of craftsmanship, so I'll set the table. I'll do the decorating. I'll do the other stuff. I'll donate money or whatever, but don't ask me to cook and don't ask me to, all that. So it's lovely when you know that. So if you want to check it out, just go to dannasmithers.com, programs, and you'll find Sacred Gifts under there. I think, my final word about caregiving is I think when you're doing things from love, when you set that intention, for me, I always ask Source, the universe, whatever, for the guidance. But one thing that I have found so important on this journey for me is I still do keep a gratitude journal every day.
Mm-hmm.
So not everybody likes to journal or that, but a sacred gift is writing, so I like to write. And, just expressing gratitude. And even if you don't get it down, there's so many things, even with my husband, okay, we honestly did not welcome this into our lives, I will say that. But once it's there, it's like, okay, what's the choice? What's the choice? What's the best choice? All right, thanks for this. The medical help we've had, and also here in Canada, what we would have had to pay if we live in the States, like this has cost us this in terms of hospital.
Wow.
And that, I mean, we've got other bills, but they're nothing compared to what it would have been. So it's just remembering to express that gratitude. And often at night, Terry and I will just say, okay, what are you grateful for? And it just puts you in that. That's the whole law of attraction, because when you're grateful for something today, chances are you're going to get a little bit more of it tomorrow. Yeah. So I like it when my sister offers to cook. So.
Oh, thank you, ladies. Thank you for sharing. It's so important. And I just want to say that anyone's watching, if you know anybody, that just let them see this. Let them know that there are people that are they're doing the best they can. And we might lose our patience and stuff, but maybe that's because that's not their sacred gift. And that's what I just learned. It was like, oh my gosh, it made me feel so much better. And I believe knowing that has made me more empathetic and more being able to listen and go through things with my mom a little easier, knowing that it's okay, this isn't my gift. I can kind of be a little bit anyway, but I just want to thank both of you from the bottom of my heart.
Thanks, Tana.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because the whole year or more now that I've been going through this, I know the law of attraction. I teach the law of attraction. I'm a health and wellness coach. I do all these things, but yet without your support, the both of you, and the community that we have, without that support, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Yeah. So I really appreciate both of you. And so all you listening, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. So you'll see us again. That's a guarantee. So bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Penny.
Thank you both.
Bye.